good, YouTube? It's your boy Vonnie coming back at y'all with another video. So, in this one, I want to get straight into it, man. The psychology of making money. Y'all read the title, man. Hey, this finna be a banger. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Let me know. Let me know how much money y'all making. Let me know how much you're making an hour. I just want to know where y'all at in life, man. I'll tell y'all straight up how much I'm making an hour. $24.50. $24.50 at the first job. Then I work another job. I make $17.90. So, yeah, odd numbers, but still, I mess with it. And then I DoorDash on the side and all that stuff. But like, comment, subscribe, man. We're getting straight into this, man. The psychology of money. Let's break it down for you, man. Psychology of money isn't just about numbers. You're not focused just on numbers. You're thinking about, your behavior. What decisions can you make over time where, most people wouldn't make that decision. They would choose the safer side rather than taking a risk. You feel me? So your identity drives your income. At the end of the day, people earn, based off of what they do. It's simple. If you see yourself as you're bad with money, you will subconsciously prove that. You will prove it. If you see yourself as somebody who builds wealth, your actions will show that. Stop saying I'm broke and say I'm building, simple stuff like that. Like, if you can't say, or something like I'm stacking, if you don't want to say I'm building, I'm stacking, you're not broke. You're not broke unless you think you're broke. If you're building something, if you have a place that you want to be in life, if you have something that you work towards, yeah, you might be low on funds, but you're not broke. It's not your time yet. It hasn't been your time. But if you keep stacking, your time's coming, Delay that gratification, The biggest difference between broke and wealthy people is time. Broke people say stuff like, what can I buy today? Wealthy people say, what can this become later? How can I turn this money into more money? You feel me? How can I turn this money into assets? How can I turn this money into investments? Stuff like that. Broke people, they're just looking for that instant gratification. Oh, guess what I just got? Look what I just got. Look at this cool thing I just got. Look at this cool shirt. Look at these cool shoes. I mean, yeah, it's all cool, but you ain't got nothing in your savings account. You ain't got nothing in your investment account. You ain't got nothing to further your future. You just got that cool shirt that's gonna devalue itself as soon as you buy it, and then 2 or 3 months, you're not even gonna wear that shirt anymore. You're gonna try to sell it. It's little stuff like that. Working hard doesn't guarantee you money. At the end of the day, we all got to go to our 9-to-5 jobs, make that money first, and then let our money work for us. You could work 100 hours, but if you make one smart move in your life, you could completely erase 100 hours. Passive income is the biggest income that you can have. If you're making money while not working, how can you beat that? How can you? Learning a high income skill, it can 10 times your income more than any job. It doesn't matter what the job is. A lot of people like to do a trade, and, trade is cool because you're making 30, 40, sometimes $50 an hour. But what if you post one TikTok or one YouTube video and that YouTube video blows up and it only took you, 4 or 5 hours to do, and it blows up and now you're making, thousands off of that YouTube video that took you 4 or 5 hours of labor. You feel me? 4 or 5 hours of labor for thousands. That seems pretty compatible, right? Because you got that high income skill. That's way more than $50 an hour. Now, let's say you start stacking those TikToks, those YouTube, those, Twitch streams, all that up. And eventually, you're going to be working a lot less, but making a lot more. You feel me? So, next thing I want to get into, man, don't let your emotions control your financial. Like, a lot of people, they're stressed out, so they spend money. Their ego, they need the newest clothes, they need the newest pants, the newest shoes. They got to flex, or they need a new whip. They're like, man, I done had this beater for a minute. I got like 4 or 5,000 saved up. Let me go get a new car. Now you're in debt. Or, fear. Fear is a big one. A lot of people A lot of people would rather spend their money on something they know. They know for a fact they're going to have fun at the club. They know for a fact, this weed's going to get them high. They know for a fact that this alcohol is going to make them have a good time. But they're so scared to invest because, like, what if you invest and your money goes to shit? Like, it doesn't work out. And now now you could have spent that money on, like I said, the clothes, the weed, the alcohol, but now your money has been invested and now you're losing money. But what if one time when you invested, you keep investing, over years? It might take a couple years. Sadly, it might. But what if one time you hit the jackpot? And this isn't gambling. This is, it's proven that if you invest over time, you will see a profit. You will see a good outcome. It's been proven. There's not a person that started investing in their 20s and kept investing all the way throughout their 60s, 50s, we'll say, that, they didn't end up succeeding because, and I'm not talking about the stock market. Stock market is different because a lot of people like to put their money into the stock market and they can lose drastically. But I'm talking about like Roth IRAs, 401ks. If you have a job, your job matches that 401k, you can't lose. Because basically, I like to look at 401ks like this. You make $20 an hour, right? You got a 401k. You put your money in, and then your job matches that money. So basically, you're making $40 an hour. You feel me? And let that stack up over, 15, 20 years. So now, you're made double by just investing a little bit of your money that you already had from your check into the 401k. Or like a Roth IRA. It is buying stocks at the end of the day. But these are guaranteed stocks that are going to help you because over time, you're going to just see them increasing. And, that's a good thing. So, like I said, don't let your emotions control your financial situation. We all stress. The richest people stress, and they're not just going and spending impulsively. And we all, one day do want to have that nice car, do want to have the nice clothes and all that stuff that, it's hard as a human not to want to, sometimes level up in life, show people what you've got, what you've made. It's hard. But if you stay down now, as a young person, if you stay down now, you're just getting started, honestly, in life. So you stay down for a little bit, bam, by your 30s, mid-30s, or, if you're starting at your mid-30s, by your late 40s, or if you're starting at your late 40s, by your early 60s, you could be flexing, and it's a real flex because you could buy this thing and you didn't spend your last on it. Like most people who flex nowadays are spending their last on it, and that's it. They got to go back to work. They got to go back to hustling. At least when you flex later in life, you don't have to go back to work. You just bought that and you still got freaking 100,000 saved up, or a milli saved up, something like that. Discipline comes to mind when we're talking about getting money. It's psychological. You have to stay disciplined. Your habits are going to beat your motivation. Motivation is going to fade every single time. If we all worked off of motivation, if everybody who was a millionaire, a billionaire, worked off of motivation, we would have a lot more. Not every day is going to be, oh man, I want to get up and go get it today. I want to go get it today. No, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, man, I don't really feel like it today. I don't feel like it at all. That's when you kick it into overdrive and you're like, man, I got to stay disciplined. I got to stay the course. Automatically saving is going to help you. Investing constantly. I want you guys to actually do this. You get a check, go get some money. Go actually put some money in your hands and let that stack up. Go put it in a shoebox. Go put it in somewhere safe. Because the moment that you touch some money, you're going to be like, I don't want to spend this. If you're always seeing it on a digital footprint, on a digital device, you're going to just spend it easily. It's so easy to just tap your card. But you put your money away, And then you leave the house, you're like, oh, snap, I don't really have no money to spend. Or one day you're just going to look up and look in that shoebox and be like, dang, there's $5,000 in here. I didn't even realize I had that much in here. So yeah, go actually touch some money. That's what I like to do. Touch some money. And like, all right. A lot of people don't think this, but your environment shapes your income. Hang out with people who are in the exact boat as you, who are hustling, who are trying to figure out life, trying to do life. And then, you hang out with those people. All it takes is to meet one person, one mentor or one person who's already got it together. They're going to motivate you in that time. And you're going to see like, oh, dang, they're really making a lot of money. They're doing this for a living. Like they make this money. Let that be, let that be your motivation or your reason why you get up, man. You become like the people around you. So if you're hanging around bums, sad to say, you're going to become a bum. But if you're hanging around, rich people or people that are on the hustle or on the grind, just like you're going to become that, So, focus on that income first, then save. A lot of people like to budget way out of their league, man. Like, it's backwards. First, increase income. You want to increase your income. You want to, my thing about it is, if you're working this job and it's making $17 an hour and this job's paying 19, go to the 19. If you're working this 19 and you see a job for 21, go to the 21. If you're working a job for 21 and you see a job for 24, go to the 24. Because at the end of the day, these companies aren't going to care about you. They'll fire you in an instant. If stuff starts going downhill, they're going to fire you. So, don't rely on a company. I mean, I know it's hard, man. You got your friends, you got everybody around you, you've been working there for years, but at the end of the day, it's forcing yourself into a raise, Not every company is just going to give you a raise. You got to force yourself into a raise by going to this other company that's paying more. So that's the first step. Increase your income, do your side hustles. And like I like to DoorDash, and then I like to pressure wash on the side. Those are my side hustles. I like doing those. Control your spending is the next thing. If you can't control your spending, you're never going to make it in life. Those $5 that you spend every day could have been invested every day. And that's just as simple as that. $20 that you spend every day could have been invested every day. But you just can't control your spending. You impulsively spend. You feel like you need the newest stuff. You feel like you need that energy drink. You feel like, and it's not gonna work out. And the last thing, invest. If you're not investing, like I said, you're gonna fall behind, and it's gonna be fast. A risk is required. You have to take a risk. And like I said, man, I just want to iterate this into your head, man. Like, discipline over talent. That person that wakes up every morning and does the same thing, eats the same food, goes to their same job, and then at the end of the day, they're doing stuff that they don't really want to do, is going to beat that talented person. Because honestly, you don't need to be the smartest person in the world. You don't need to be smart at all to make money. You just keep showing up. If you got to work 60 to 80 hours a week for 2 years for somebody else so that you can get a business for yourself, so you have a little bit of, capital, so you can actually invest into yourself, invest into your company, so be it, man. Bottom line is, man, this is the last thing I'm going to say before I get off of here. Making money is 80% psychological and 20% strategy. If you fix your income, you're going to be happier. You increase that income, you're going to be happier. You fix your mind, you're going to see it, man. You fix your habits, you wake up every day and you get on your grind regardless, you're going to see it. And then, like I said, the emotional stuff. Don't let your stress get in the way, man. And just keep hustling, man. At the end of the day, regardless of how you feel that day, if you wake up and you go get it, the money part's going to come. The income's going to come. And then you start investing it, it's going to come. it's gonna come. It's gonna come fast, man. Everything starts off slow, and then bam, you're on a roller coaster. Starting off slow, bam, drops down the hill, and they always say the second time that you get to some money is gonna be easier. So, get to some money now. Go up that hill, slow ride up, but once you start getting that money, man, it's gonna be income. So that's all I got for this video, man. If y'all can like, comment, subscribe, man. We are doing our thing on here. Hey, I love all the support. And I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.